No story on Ceylon tea is complete without that of Dambatenne Tea Processing Centre in Haputale and the famous Lipton seat. One of the most impressive tours from Colombo by road one would feel is the climb to Haputale through Ratnapura, Balangoda and Belihuloe. When you come to the bottom of the Haputale hills, you would start feeling the coolness of the Uva province right from a small town called Haldumulla. From here, you climb up the zigzagging road, and when nearing Haputale, you get romantically blended with the surrounding beauty which is so enchanting. Haputale is a small town which during most part of the year is covered with mist and sometimes thick fog. When it's windy, strong gusts make you shudder and feel as if the air is going through your ears into your soul. From this town, Dambatenne Road branches off leading toward the mighty hills of Haputale. The road was paved and reasonably well maintained, but the condition of the road was of little concern to me as I proceeded further up the hills toward Dambatenne. My mind fully focused on the abundance of beauty nature has bestowed. Unmistakably, anyone who visits this part of the world will see a difference in atmosphere. At one point, I saw 3 factories standing majestically in a row all across Haputale Valley. The first one is Totalagala, then Pitaratmale, and the last towards the end, Dambatenne itself, beyond which looked like a dead end. I was told the other side of is Poonagala Valley. All these 3 factories produce some of the best Uva high-grown teas, which attract high prices in the Colombo tea auctions. I was unlucky not to have taken a wide-angle camera to get all the 3 factories in a focus, but managed to cover 2 of them. Nevertheless, the picture was not very clear due to the thick mist in the area, making it somewhat mysterious and eerie. The glaring Haputale hills made me wonder of the numerous untold stories it had to relate. As I travelled further up the bumpy road, Dambatenne Tea Garden welcomed me with a number of signboards, beautifully designed to show off prominently what I wanted to see. From the entry point of this vast garden, signboards indicated I was near Dambatenne Tea Factory. However, I was now more eager to visit the outdoor seat used by one of the best known names in the tea industry, Sir Thomas Lipton's Lipton seat. This has become a tourist attraction from all over the world. My trip to the factory could be postponed, I thought. I am now at Lipton seat used by Sir Thomas Lipton. It took me much time to research to get as much facts as possible about this personality named Sir Thomas Lipton, whose name is so commonly seen on the packets of tea leaves throughout the world.
The total distance from Haputale town to Lipton seat is about 20.5 kilometers, but one would not feel the distance due to the beautiful scenes one could enjoy along the road. Signboards indicate the way up to the famous place. Traveling to Lipton seat cost a good deal, as the price from Haputale has to be on a car, van, or 3-wheeler. Charges are exorbitant whatever means you choose. A small stretch of land has been cleared up on the edge of the cliff to make a tarmac, made comfortable for visitors to park their vehicles and relax under a thatched hut. From here the actual Lipton seat is connected by flights of stone steps down a footpath. Sir Thomas Lipton often came here to admire the expansive panoramic views. Mornings are best if you wish to visit, as clouds cover the area on most days around noon till the following morning. On a clear day, you could view all the way to the southern coast of Sri Lanka. We could only imagine how Sir Lipton must have enjoyed the sheer natural beauty of the magnificent landscape. It is hard to describe the sheer beauty nature could offer us in the form of green hills, white clouds floating above tree tops, in the backdrop of a clear blue sky. A small eatery for refreshments for the visitors has been built in the vicinity, and the entire place is being maintained by the management of Dambatenne. While the tourists and visitors continue to look at the concrete structure below the car park as the seat where Sir Thomas Lipton used to sit, relax, admire the beauty of nature, and may even have meditated in silence, an interesting revelation was related by a one-time planter.
Mr. Vijay John Pillai, who was the assistant manager of the division from 1979 to 1983, in which the Lipton seat is located. During this period, he was in charge of an accelerated replanting program undertaken by the estate. According to him, a huge stone above the tea shop in the picture was the actual seat Mr. Lipton had used, and it was broken and removed to make terraces for the replanting operation. This claim may be true, since the view from this location is much more enchanting than the concrete shed now being shown to visitors as Lipton's seat.
In his time, Sir Thomas Lipton was known for much more. Raised in desperate poverty, he became rich beyond his wildest dreams. He built a global empire of markets, factories, plantations, and stockyards, according to Michael D'Antonia in biography of Sir Thomas Lipton. Perhaps, the most interesting episode on Sir Thomas Lipton's life history has been summarized in the Glasgow Guide, a UK periodical. Born in a tenement in Gorbals in 1850, of Irish parents, Tommy Lipton left school at 10 and at 15 was in America. He had stowed away in a ship. Initially he worked as a farm laborer in Virginia and South Carolina, later working in a grocer's shop in New York. He must have absorbed American business flair, for 5 years later he was back in Glasgow opening what was to be the first shop in an extremely successful retail empire. In 10 years he was a millionaire, acquiring tea estates in Sri Lanka and meat processing factories in America. His business philosophy he summed up as, work hard, deal honestly, be enterprising, exercise careful judgment, advertise freely but judiciously. In the tea business, particularly, he was innovative, selling different tea blends to different countries and using containers to help preserve freshness. It was Lipton who was the first to package tea in small, convenient tins to keep it fresh, preserve the flavor, and guarantee that customers received the correct amount of tea. By the turn of the century, tea was a popular beverage on both sides of the Atlantic. Sir Thomas Lipton died peacefully in his sleep at his home in Osage, UK on the October 2, 1931. The tea plantation he acquired was Dambatenne Tea Estate. In 1937, 6 years after Lipton's death, a High Court order allowed his trustees to sell his interests with the proceeds going to the Lipton Trust for the benefit of the poor in Glasgow. By 1946, when the last payment was made, the Lipton Trust had donated a total of £821,000 to the city. The Lipton brand, now owned by Unilever, is still going strong.
On the way back to Haputale, I stopped over near Dambatenne Tea Factory, which was my primary purpose of the visit. A long white building. The factory was built in 1890 by Sir Thomas Lipton, and most of it looked as if nothing had been changed, even though it has seen much modernization. The factory is one of the finest looking buildings in the whole of the Uva Highlands. I gather that some of the equipment and machinery of the colonial era have been preserved, obviously for sentimental reasons. Dambatenne Factory has been producing some of the finest teas Ceylon tea could offer the world. No wonder the present owners of Lipton's continue to buy large quantity of Dambatenne tea they sell to the world.